Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Aho Kashtamahunnyayam Yadyuyam Dharmanandana Jivitum Narthatha Klishtam Vipra Dharmachyutashraya. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhishmadeva said, "Oh, what a terrible suffering and what terrible injustice you good souls had to suffer for being the sons of religion personified. You did not deserve to remain alive under those tribulations. Yet you were protected by the Brahmanas, God and religion." Purport. Maharaj Yudhishthir was disturbed due to the great massacre in the battle of Kurukshetra. Bhishma Deva could understand this, and therefore he spoke first of the terrible sufferings of Maharaj Yudhishthir. He was put into difficulty by injustice only, and the battle of Kurukshetra was fought just to counteract this injustice. Therefore, he should not regret the great massacre. He wanted to point out particularly that they were always protected by the Brahmanas, the Lord, and religious principles. As long as they were protected by these three important items, there was no cause of disappointment. Thus, Bhishmadeva encouraged Maharaj Yudhishthira to dissipate his despondency. As long as the person is fully in cooperation with the wishes of the Lord, guided by the bona fide Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, and strictly following the religious principles, one has no cause for despondency. However, trying the circumstances of life, Bhishmadeva, as one of the authorities in the line, wanted to impress this point upon the Pandavas. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaivadanuttamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayo Mudhirayat Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Yam Swanubhavam Akilam Shudisaramekam Adhyatmadipamatithi Satam Tamundham Samsarinam Karunayaha Purana Guhyam Tam Vyasa Sunupayami Guru Muninam Mukham Karuti Vachalam Phalgum Langayate Girim Tat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Gurun Jinatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So in this particular shloka, Bhishma Pitamaha, he's lying down on the bed of arrows. He's lying down, not in a very comfortable situation, and he also completely separated from all battlefield. He is now suffering, basically, very, very heavy sufferings. But while being himself in such a difficult situation, when he saw the Pandavas, he is praying and exclaiming, Aho dukham aho nyayam. What kind of sufferings you guys went through? You see, this is the qualification of the Mahatma. Para dukkha dukhi, para sukha sukhi. He is always feeling sufferings by seeing suffering of others, and he's sharing the happiness of others. He's feeling very, very happy when others are happy because he's non-envious. Anusuya way. Suya means envy. Unfortunately, this material world is full of envy. Mr. A envious of Mr. B or C, and there is so many joking stories about that. But Mahajanas, they're showing us the path. How to be in the situation, which is provocating situation, very difficult situation, and how to remain joyful. In fact, we have 12 Mahajanas, right? We all know that there are 12 Mahajanas. Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu, Komaram, Kapilo, Manu, Prahlada, Janaka, Bhishma, Balir, Vayasaki, Vayam. So this is the 6 great personalities, those who setting the examples. Mahajano, Yinagata Sapantaha. So this is basically no need to find out the bicycle. It's already made, and we are not new under the sky. These difficulties were happening practically to all Mahajanas, and we will not go through all of them, but we can do homework and study that each and every Mahajana, including Brahmaji, Lord Brahma, he born in the lotus, right, in complete darkness. In fact, now we are living in Padma Kalpa of Brahmaji. This is the day, and for your kind information, this is the birthday of our Lord Brahma, birthday. In the year of Brahma, this is a birthday. And in his birthday, he born on the lotus. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that sometimes, yet another day, Brahmaji sometimes born in the water. Can you imagine? You woke up and you just in the swimming, flooding. You don't know what is going on. Or sometimes Brahmaji born in the air, and sometimes he born in the ether. Can you imagine? He just in the ether, nothing is around, and he's such a trouble. At least we have some shopping complex and internet we have. Brahmaji had nothing, and in that situation, he doesn't know what to do. Very challenging. It's happening every day. What to speak about Prahlad Maharaj and Janak Maharaj, who went through so many difficulties. Practically each and every Mahajan showing the example. In fact, Srila Prabhupada explains that greatness of the man can be understood by his ability to tolerate provocating situations. So there is no lack of provocating situation in this material world, and current situation, all of us we facing. But what actually lessons we can learn from this situation? Bishop Pitamaha, he says, there is, what is the cause he is saying? Because we don't understand why it's happening. Yudhishthira Maharaj, he took shelter of 3 things. Brahmanas, right? Dharma, Achyuta, he himself personally was guiding him. He's basically saying, that's what he is saying, Vipra Dharma Chutashrayam. So in Brahmanas were there, Krishna himself and religious principles. Dharma Rakshati Rakshakaha. So actually my realization at this particular time, the difficulties making man very strong. And this is the, as Prabhupada used to say, Tijapka Pariksha. This is the acid test. Because you cannot know, as they say in Hindi, Dudh ka dudh, pani ka pani. Because when difficult situation comes, person has to manifest his own face, his own inner motivations. What's happening? Why happening? Because when sun is shining, it's very difficult to know what is inside the person. But when difficulties comes, person can manifest his own nature. You see, one devotee was telling in US only that during the Vietnam War, he was sent to the battlefield, and they were in front line with his friend. And when they were in front line, this was a heavy fire started. They happened to be trapped in ambush. So all this crossfire started, and his friend was basically shooted by bullets, and he dropped on the ground. So another friend, he was so scared of the situation. He also dropped on the ground, didn't know what to do, how to retreat. So he decided to take his friend on the shoulders, on his back, and retreat with his friend on the back. So he thought, my friend anyway, he already did what to do. So I can cover myself with that friend and retire myself by saving myself by my body of my friend. When he came back to his trenches, to his side, he jumped inside the trenches and dropped his friend also. Somehow or other, they took this friend to the hospital, and guess what? That friend happened to survive. So, and government gave the order. They gave a reward to this guy who saved his friend during the battlefield. They say, oh, you're so great. During such a difficult situation, you saved your friend. And they gave him an award for that, for fearlessness. But only he knew inside what was actual reason. He was so ashamed that actually motivation was something and action was different. So in difficult situation, we can really know ourselves better. We can know who is real friend. As we say, real friends, not those who are looking at each other and glorifying each other, but those who are looking at the same direction and supporting each other, really supporting each other. And we can see this great challenge happening all over the world. And now it's people divided into two groups, right? Krishna says, Dud ka dud, pani ka pani, demonic and divine natures. And basically, Prabhupada explains, you can understand the person by his behavior. Vyavaharana jayante. Who is Mahatma, who is Duratma, right? Duryodhana, Dushasana. Because everybody have the same situation, basically. And now, all over the world, everybody trapped in the same similar situation, quarantine. But this virus is like lakmus paper. You know, lakmus paper? In what kind of liquid inside the glass, you cannot understand. It's transparent. But when you're putting lakmus paper, you can understand acid or base. What is inside? So similarly, sometimes provocating situation showing our real Sharanagati level indicator. Sharanagati. I'm sure that you remember what is the 6 symptoms of Sharanagati. Anukulyasya Krishnanu Pratikulyasya Varjanam Rakshaititi Vishwaso Goptritve Varnam Tatha Atmanikshepa Karpanyam. So this is the 6 symptoms of Sharanagati. And this is a self-test. What should be done in order to remain happy and satisfied, basically. Santushtak Satatam Yogi. You see, in any situation means in any situation. Sukha, dukkha, sita, ushna, cold, hold. When everything is nice to practice bhakti, Hare Krishna, when sun is shining. But when we have to be in very dangerous situation, when Bhagavatam says we have to go to Durbhikka Piditaha, we have to go to the forest even, you see. Situation will become so bad that people have to go to the forest. Like Pandavas, they went for 12 years to the forest. Other day I was in Biratnagar, and Pandavas, they spent pretty much time in Nepal, you see, in Biratnagar here. So King Raja Naresh, Matsya Naresh, 13 years of Agyatavas, they spent actually here in the territory of Nepal. And then, you see, because as a result of that, Arjuna, he had to become Napumsak, Brihangala. Can you imagine what an offense to the great Kshatriya king to become Ijra, basically, to dance teacher. And then later on, of course, when things became clear, so King Virat Matsya, he offered him his daughter, but he said, no, my daughter cannot be married with me because I am her teacher. And he got married, her with whom? With Abhimanyu. And then baby was born, who was Parikshit Maharaj. So Parikshit Maharaj, as I'm always joking, he is Nepali. So you see, all Srimad Bhagavatam collected to Nepal. And that was very great, difficult situation. Very great, challenging situation. And Arjuna also came here, and he got this also challenge when he had to leave. So many stories, how he promised that he'll never come inside the bedroom when one of the brothers carried the brother's husband inside the room with Draupadi. But Arjuna, to save some cows and protect them from being stolen from Brahmana, he had to go inside and take his bow from underneath of the bed without looking at Yudhishthira. But then as a promise, he had to go for 1 year Agyatavas, separate himself. And he came to Pashupatinath, to Kathmandu also. And he got married with Ulupi, Nagakanya. You see? And then he got Pashupata Astra. He had to fight with Lord Shiva. Challenge after challenge after challenge. It's actually, life is about struggling, sanghars. And in this big marketplace of Maya, everybody trying to buy happiness. You see, everybody trying to buy happiness, but there is no happiness indeed. Somebody was telling me in this shopping complex of Maya, all shopping complex closed nowadays. In Nepal also, everything closed. But only one shopping complex of Maya. And everybody, we are customers. Huh? As they say, customer. Jo customer te hai, wo customer hai. So now everybody customers in the Maya's shopping complex. You see, but suffering is optional. How we react to the situation. 2 guys fell down from the imperial building, from skyscraper, and they find they falling down. One guy is screaming, "Oh, I'm dying," and as one guy is saying, "I'm flying." So how to react to the situation, really? And what should be done in that situation? I'll just give you one small example, and then we can accept some questions so we can know what is actually prominent points you would like to know about. So without shooting around different examples, but I'll give you 3 suggestions and how to improve the situation, and a few examples from practical life. In fact, all this critical situation, I was giving recently a seminar about how to establish peace and successful situation in challenging situation, you see. And I was speaking about 3A success, 3A, basically. It's, we have to be available in difficult situation. We have to be available, we have to be attentive, and we have to be appreciative. 3A success, really, really very important. Because when challenge comes, it challenge be on different levels, you see. Now we have social, physical, emotional, and spiritual challenges, isn't it? So now we have social challenge and economical challenge. Sometimes we have relationship challenge. And how we can take it and go with this ahead. People can take it as a stepping stone for their progress, spiritual progress. Because ultimately we have to understand that आया है सो जाएगा रजारंग फकीर जो सिंहासन चंचले बंद जन जंजीर. आया है सो जाएगा. So we are all temporary passengers here. There is no point of being attached here. In fact, once Srila Prabhupada was visited by one sannyasini lady. One lady came to him and said, "Swamiji, we would like to invite you for big spiritual press conference. In that press conference, we're going to call all the great leaders of spiritual organizations, and we're going to discuss how to make heaven on our planet, on this planet, how to make it peaceful and happy place." And Srila Prabhupada was hearing this lady again and again. And then after she finished, Prabhupada gave example, very drastic example, very graphic example. He said, "Do you have village toilet, simple village toilet, like with AC, no roof, and all these things in the ground? Suppose you're sitting in the toilet, and then after finishing your business, you took very nice perfume, Agent de la Mode de la Français, very nice France perfume, very costly, and you sprinkle in that toilet. For how long it will save the situation? For how long? Because the place is very stinking, very dirty. The place itself, don't try to adjust to this place and to beautify the place. Unless you just leave this place, you can never become happy, because the essence of this place is dukkhalaya shashvatam, dukkha alaya. This is actually a place of suffering. But we can never understand this unless we actually confront the reality. So sometimes Krishna has to confront the reality. And we are reading now in our community Ramayana at the moment. And in Ramayana, so many challenges. When Supreme Personality of Godhead was present in this planet, just see how many challenges he faced. Who are we to compare even to that situation? We are tiny, insignificant, dhuli sadrisham vichintaya. But Supreme Personality of Godhead himself had to accept the challenges. But how to remain in the challenge, that's up to us. It's optional to suffer or to enjoy. It's our choice. You see? In fact, all Bhagavad Gita was such a tormenting situation. Arjuna had to face such a challenge at the end. After all those challenges, he had to face that battlefield, Kurukshetra challenge, isn't it? And he had to kill all his relatives. And in 18 days, 640 millions of people were massacred, finished. There is reason to lament. You see, Yudhishthira Maharaj, dimag kharab ho gaya bhai. What to do now? Can you imagine? You killed all your relatives, bloody field, and now you're going to face the wives of those killed brothers and uncles and relatives and Gandhari and Dhritarashtra, and you're supposed to smile or what? Krishna, are you crazy or what? Susukham kartum avyayam. But Krishna, he supposed to speak again another Bhagavad Gita to convince Yudhishthira Maharaj, but he decided to take him to Bhishma Pitamaha. So truth spoken by Mahajanas. He wanted to glorify Bhishma Pitamaha, who was himself in great trouble, but still he was trying to inspire his devotees. And he was giving very nice lecture, Bhagavatam. Being himself suffering like anything, he was trying to inspire Yudhishthira Maharaj for devotional service. So Prahlad Maharaj, he explains that in this material world, people, they placed in a very, very challenging situation in lockdown. Complete lockdown in this material world for Baddha Jiva. It's called Baddha Jiva. For millions or many lives of crime. We are staying here. Complete lockdown. We locked down from the spiritual world. And we're trying to solve these problems by material means. And all these material means are bringing even more sufferings than problem itself. So it is, as Einstein, he said, we cannot solve the problem from the state of mind we created it. We have to come to the higher platform to solve the problem. Because like we have temple in Kathmandu, it's a very, very nice, wonderful hill, mountain hill. Shivapuri is called. But behind that hill, there is another range of mountains. And behind that range of mountains, Himalayas, all this Everest. So, but we cannot see from our point, we cannot see Everest unless we will climb that on the top of that mountain, and behind those mountains climb to another mountain. Then we can understand, that is the final destination. Similarly, we cannot understand why what's happening at the moment without seeing full picture. So Bhishma Pitamaha concludes that was the plan and of the providence, because Brahmanas, Achyuta and Dharma was with you, still you were suffering. It must be some plan of providence. That's why we have to simply accept that without Krishna's will, even grass will not move. And when we accept the fact that nothing happens by chance, let me just simply be always in devotional service. And that's the remedy. Srila Prahlad Maharaj explains in 7 Canto Bhagavatam that is the remedy. Unless we engage in devotional service, we can never solve any problems in this material world. In fact, it becomes only more and more complicated. Simply, we have to understand how to serve in every situation. You see, and that's why we have to be very grateful, because gratitude is a very wonderful soil for the bhakti. When we are grateful that to whatever we have, in fact, very often I wake up and every morning I am counting my blessings. In fact, we even made the list of the wonderful blessings we have got. You can do it as a homework, all of you. You can write down the blessings which we have got from Krishna. All right, we got this coronavirus, economical crisis, we have uncertain situation in future. That's few things, but so many wonderful, positive things we have. And if you can count your blessings, it's become a very nice list. You try to reach it up to 108. You will see. I was writing to myself, my blessings, I have got, first of all, I am healthy, more or less. I have many friends. I can speak languages. I can travel all over the world. I am playing instruments. I love to draw the pictures. Whatnot. Everything you can write down, which others perhaps they don't have. And you can find how unique every one of us. How many wonderful blessings. We got wonderful spouse or, partner, family, husband, wife, children. We have facilities. Somehow or other we are blessed by having each other. We are now connected through the Zoom. It's not a question of geography. So that's why this 3 things, 3A, we have to be available, we have to be attentive, and we have to be appreciative. And what does it mean, attentive also? Lord Brahma, he praying in 10th Canto Bhagavatam, Tattenu kampam susumikshamanam bunjana evatva kritam vipakram. He says, actually susumikshamanam. Yesterday we had discussion and we can see the provocating situation with Bali and Sugriv. And they were fighting, and sometimes fight happens between 2 brothers also. You see? But we should not be reactive too much. Judge this one or that one. Because there is no sound without 2 hands. Whatever situation happens, now we are reaping the result of sinful activities of all this planet. And as a reaction, Krishna has some plan. Because when sufferings are there, dukh mein sumiran sob kare, sukh mein kare na koi, jo sukh mein sumiran kare to dukh hai ka hoy. So now when great suffering is happening, people really open to spirituality. Believe me, I never give as many seminars as I am giving now. morning, evening, lectures, Zoom. Oh no, today I have 3 seminars. You are first, then I have Russian seminar Zoom, and then I have also this Europe, and then I have evening reading Bhagavatam, and we have brahmacharis training here. I was thinking, wow, we don't know how to take it. Is it blessing or curse? In fact, devotees became so close to each other. I can see Tulasi Prabhu now, with wonderful background, flowers. But it's after Dwapara Yuga I can see him. Because when things very nice, hardly we can meet each other. Ramachandra Prabhu, Deepak Prabhuji's family, such a wonderful darshana. Thank you very much for all of you. But we're taking maximum profit, because real happiness for devotees to be together. Because when we are together, we're remembering Krishna. Manas smareta shupatir gunam stay grinitava karma karotu kaya. Manas smareta, we can remember Krishna. Otherwise, boring. Otherwise, we'll be snoring now, and we will be doing all kind of business. We'll be busy. But now Krishna, he blessed us to be 24 hours together. Just look. Actually, material world, Krishna says, don't worry about that. It was never time when I will not take care of you. Perhaps you will not have this much amount, but you will get this much amount, but it will be sufficient for you to maintain body and soul and to read Bhagavatam and to associate with devotees. In fact, when real satisfaction comes, we cannot buy real happiness by money, as we all know. Real happiness, there are so many wonderful things which we cannot buy. We cannot buy friendship, we cannot buy relationships, we cannot buy happiness, we cannot buy satisfaction. Because nobody can be satisfied. Asantasya kutak sukham. But if you are satisfied inside and happy, then you can be even in the battlefield. Mamanusmara yuddhacha. You can be in the battlefield, and Krishna tells to Arjuna, now you're in the battlefield, you have to fight and kill people, but I'll give you such a knowledge. In 9th chapter, he says, Susukham kartumaviyam, pratyaksh rupma, pratyak aksha, aksha means eyes. Directly, you can see how happy you are. People will not understand, you crazy people or what? We have such a challenging situation, this guy is chanting and laughing and dancing. Very often happens like that. When I actually left my army job, and my family also left me, and I was working as a sweeper for 3 years, because when I left army, I happened to work as a bungie for 3 years. But I was okay. I was just happy and just chanting Hare Krishna. We did some programs. And my friends, they were telling, this guy is really crazy. In those days in Russia, can you imagine, one is top salary payment, high rank commando officer, and now he's working as a sweeper. Are you mad or what? 1 year they thought I'm crazy. My mother told me that I'm crazy. Everybody told me that I'm crazy. I found my old photo a few days before. Even I was surprised. Now I'm thinking maybe I was crazy, actually. And we were crazy. Because Radha Govinda Maharaj, he tells, you have to become crazy. If you don't want to do dandavat to Krishna, you have to do dandavat to Maya. You have to do dandavat to somebody. You see? But Krishna will never let you down. Mrs. Maya, she will test you and let you down. She will cheat you, surely. But Krishna said, Name Bhakta Pranashyati. My devotee will never perish. And it was never ever a single moment when I didn't have food, I didn't have money, and I have hundreds and thousands of friends now all over the world. And I'm still sitting, when my mother calling me, my dear son, I have villa, house, farmhouse. Why don't you come? But I said, okay, mommy, I don't have time, that I'm so busy. Said, what are you eating? Where are you getting money? I never ever thought about eating till date. I never thought about the problem of eating. So many people calling us to their houses. Of course, now they're not calling us. But even in that difficult situation, still, Ramji ka chirya, Ramji ka khet, kup khau chirya, barbar ki pet. So no problem. There is no, Prabhupada said, and Bhaktan Saraswati said, there is no bread problem. Many people going to God and asking, oh, Father, give us daily bread. No, this is not love of God. This is love of bread. People worry about the bread, not about the God. But Prabhupada said, those who are taking the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and understand his mood and dedicate their lives to execute that mood, it's called Manobhishta. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishta. And Brahmanas also, Achyuta Brahmana. And also real Brahmana Guru, he is representative of Krishna. If you can understand the mood of spiritual master, then we can actually be completely tuned. And you can go to hell to execute that mission. That's what Srila Prabhupada did. He went to America, he took 2 heart attacks. Why? He was suffering so much because he took the mood of Bhaktivedanta Saraswati to preach. He took the mission. And once you belong to somebody, you belong to Parampara, you belong to the mission, you will never feel yourself anath, homeless. You will feel always protected. So that's the secret. And when we actually execute that, and we have this in association with devotees, it brings sense of unity, sense of team, sense of hold, strong hold of Krishna consciousness, home of love and devotion. So attentive. And attentive means also we have to very attentively see the situation. Tattenu kampam susumikshamanam. Susumikshamanam. Tattenu kampam susumikshamanam. Iksha means to see. Iksha. Susumiksha. Sumiksha means to see very carefully. And susumiksha, iksha, sumiksha, susumiksha. Susumiksha means to see very precisely what is the situation, what Krishna wants from me at this situation, why Krishna put me in particular situation, why he sent this particular person to me, why I'm going through all these things. Must be some plan. And what is that plan? Lord Brahma is saying, well, this is due to our previous karma. That's why relax and just enjoy the ride. Fasten your belts and just no one to blame. Because when we're putting finger at somebody, 3 fingers pointing at us. So real devotee, he always thinks, okay, I'm supposed to suffer much more. But Krishna is so kind, give me the perfect environment. In fact, when you will see in which environment we are now at the moment, we are okay. I can see most of you sitting in sofa and very nice place. But I tell you, so many people, they now going through big, big challenges, and those are sitting in nice environment inside the fire, they cannot become happy. It's hell inside. So we have to learn how to be always connected with Krishna. And as I remember, Srila Radhanath Maharaj was giving example long back. When storm comes and we are in the ocean and we're in the ship, waves will be tossing us to and fro. But there is chance when we will become overtaken by the waves. But what we have to do, we have to turn our ship and face the challenge. And then we have to have the anchor. We have to drop the anchor and hook ourselves. Hook. Because we have that anchor, bhalo na bhalo matra seva kori. We just simply hook on the principles, on the mission of Srila Prabhupada, the principles of 16 rounds. We know that agama apainun just mamtitiksha bharata. It will come and it will go. It will go one day. It's not, nothing is permanent in this material world. But when we completely satisfied and happy, then even in greatest danger, this is the saying, sopapisa dharmasya trayati mahato bhayat. Greatest challenge we can cross because we have something to stand on. If person doesn't stand on something, he fall down for nothing. I like the story was the businessman who was flying in the flight, international flight, and just next to him was very small girl was sitting, 7-8 years old, small girl. And all of a sudden, turbulence started and flight started to shake. And hostess came and said, dear gentlemen and ladies, our flight is in trouble, engine in trouble. So we are emergency landing. And the flight was shaking like anything. And when flight was shaking, everybody panicking and screaming and crying. And this young girl was smiling and looking in the window, drawing something. Not even simple symptom of fear was on her face. So this businessman was big old uncle, you know, pasina, cold sweat, he's sweating like crazy. And he's surprised, how come this small girl is not panicking at all? Somehow they landed, I believe in Dubai, whatever, they just landed. And when they landed, emergency landing, stopped. So everybody just had to breathe peacefully. Then this businessman, he looked at this girl and said, hey, Beti, Suno, how come everybody in panic and screaming and you are cool sitting and smiling? And she said, Uncle Ji, don't you understand? You don't understand. The pilot of this flight is my uncle, my father. My father is the pilot of this flight. And he knows very well that his daughter is sitting inside among the passengers. So he will never let this flight crash. I know my father is there, so I'm completely convinced. You see? So similarly, if you understand all planet is like big flight and there is supreme pilot, everything under control. Whatever it is, Krishna, I am at your hands. Idam Govinda, idam namama. So that's a very nice consciousness when we be and under the shelter of the principle, higher principle. Situation may be good, sometimes it can be not good, but for devotees is always good. Jivova Marova, right? That famous story of the sadhu who blessed different people differently. To prince he told, okay, you live forever, and for brahmachari he said, okay, you don't live, Jivoma Maro, you die better. And for devotee he said, okay, yes, you like, Wa Jivoma Maro, you live or die, doesn't matter. And for the butcher he said, Ma Jivoma Maro, you don't live and don't die. So for prince, because this guy had so much money, he's enjoying and doing all kind of sinful activities. That's why you better continue living, because once you will die, you will be suffering for your sins. For brahmachari, he did so much tapasya, and by doing so much tapasya, it's enough already, enough. Your account is full, go to heaven, die. And for the devotee, he said, Vajiyo Amaro, as you like, you die or you leave, as up to you, it's your choice. Like Bhishma Pitamaha. He was lying down on the arrows, and for him, he was actually in Krishna consciousness. Not only that, he was able to give lectures also. He was able to inspire others, because you cannot inspire unless you yourself inspired. We are in the process of Shakti Parinamavada, transformation of energies. If you don't have energy of happiness, you will not be able to give it to others. You cannot change others. Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Parvartan. So basically, as a conclusion, we can see if person has very strong moral values and principles and foundational, if he's standing on some foundation, then he actually can become steady in every situation in life. And what comes to my mind at the end, I wanted to tell you, I told you A, B, C, D, you see? And yes, and butcher, Majio Mamaro, Sadhu said, so butcher, he is living like in hell, killing animals in this life, in Wuhan, and eating them. And after death, they will be suffering like anything. So in this life, it's hell, plus coronavirus on the top. And when they will die also, they'll go to very, very difficult situation. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj, he says, even I'm in very difficult situation. I am not worried about my own liberation. Prayena deva munayo swa vimuktikama. Everybody worry about their own liberation. What will happen to me? But as for me, I am not worried about myself. I'm simply worried about these fools and rascals, those who don't know about you. Maya sukhaya bharato vimudha. They're thinking, but by creating vaccine for this coronavirus, they will become happy, fools. Then it's on Karuna, Maruna, SARS, swine flu, Bukam, Tufan, something else will drop on their head. Simply, this is a temporary patching of the problem, it will not solve. We have to change the root of the problem, which is forgetfulness of Krishna. And that's why they said in Bhagavatam, Bhaya Dvitiya Abhiniveshatasya Viparyo Smritihi. Bhaya Dvitiya. We all is happiness, distress because of, and fear, because we forgot about Krishna. Viparyo Smritihi. We forgot about Krishna. And you see, how to become free from this fear of any situation. There's only one remedy. Really, only one remedy. Narada Muni explains to Vyasadeva, Yasyam vai shruya manaya Krishne paramapurushe bhakti rutpadyate pumsam shoka moha and bhayapaha. Yasyam vai shruya manaya. We have to listen about Krishna. This is the medicine. And we have to actually tell to all world now, guys, if you really want to help the situation, let's organize massive kirtans and chanting like this one is Japak Maharaj is doing, and appealing to everyone. Let's chant and more, do some japa marathons, and it will help. And depends on our faith. Shraddha Anusari, Bhakti Adhikari. So if we really have that compassion, in compassionate heart, you know, in soft, compassionate heart, Bhakti will grow. So we have to, another things, we have to forgive and forget everything situation, and we have to actually let it go, this difficult situation. We should not take it too much seriously. Simply, we have to just embrace the association of devotees and take maximum profit from that bargain. Any questions?
Question, you mentioned about Sharanagati. So can you please elaborate on that?
Well, that's the main principle. You see, Sharanagati, this is the foundation. Sharanagati has 6 symptoms we have to check, because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, in order to understand me and come to me, you have to surrender to me. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. You see? But how to surrender? That's the science. And therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also in our acharyas, they teaching us how to surrender to Krishna, not whimsically, not by manmani from our mind. No, we have this scientific process, Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam. And Sharanagati made possible by 6 symptoms. You can check whether a person surrendered or not. First of all, he accepts everything is auspicious for his Krishna consciousness. Anukulyasya Krishna Anu. And then he rejects whatever is inauspicious. Whatever it may be, he avoids that. And then Rakshaititi Vishwaso, he has full faith that Krishna will protect him in every situation. You see, in fact, in Srimad Bhagavatam has explained that even person criticized, he is punished, he is even killed, chastised, he never retaliates, you know, he never fights back. He always accepts situation as it is. That's called humility. So he have full faith, Krishna has to protect me in any situation. And then Guptritve Varanam Tatha. And that's the quality of Sharanagati, means Krishna will provide me anything I need, exactly as I need. Bhagavatam explains that Tasyaiva hetuh prayatit takovido. Intelligent people, kavi, they always Tasyaiva hetuh. Nalabhyati upari adha. He says, you have to aim your life for such a goal which is not available from Brahmaloka to Patalaloka. It's such a purpose of life. A, B, C, D, aim. Should be such a goal in our life which is not available. We have to achieve something which is not available from Brahmaloka to Patalaloka. What is that? Krishna Bhakti. Krishna Bhakti jaha hoite. So, as for spiritual, as for material happiness and distress, Talabhyam sukhavat anyatha dukham kalina sarvatra gambhira rambasa. All this happiness, profit or loss, it will come and go according to your karma, for guarantee. Even you don't worry about that. Whatever you're supposed destined to get, you'll get it. How? We don't know. But Shastra says you'll get it. Amount of happiness and amount of distress. So don't worry about that. Don't do too much atyahara prayasas. Don't worry too much. Don't break your head against the wall if it's not coming your way. Or if it's coming your way very easily, you accept it and use it for Krishna consciousness and uplifting yourself. Because anyway, one day we have to leave this place. Don't adjust yourself forever here. So you take this anukulyasya, partikulyasya, and you have faith that Krishna in any situation will provide me whatever I need. And then atmanikshepa, to surrender everything, whatever I have. Manasa deha geha jo kichumore, arpirutu apadi nanda kishore. So we have mind, tan, man, dhan, everything we surrender into Krishna. Doesn't mean that we have to become sannyasis, but whatever we have, we're using this in the service of Krishna. Yat karushi, yat ashnasi, yat jukhasi dadasi, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurusvam madarpanam. Krishna says to Arjuna, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever difficulties you go through, even you have to go through Corona lockdown, you have to do it as an offering to me, Krishna says. Tat kurusvam madarpanam. Basically, that's atmanikshep. And karpanyam, humility. We have to be humble. And what does it mean to be humble? To be humble means to follow the order of spiritual master, which perhaps we don't like. We don't like maybe something, but you have to do what you have to do, and you have to do it. And that's humility, to follow the order of spiritual master, one of the symptoms. Arjuna was shooting arrows and even was killing his near and dear, and he was humble, nevertheless. Why? Because he was doing this as an order of Krishna. So sometimes when you were told to do something and you don't like it, so, and if you're just simply proud, ahankara vimudhatma, then we'll never be able to surrender, Sharanagati. But humility means we have to become very VIP, as I always say, VIP, very insignificant people we have to become. Dhuli sadrisham vichintaya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, we have to become dust. Not only dust, we have to become dust on the lotus feet of Vaishnavas. Lina mahat padaraju abhishekam niskinchana navrinita yavat. Padaraja, we have to become dust on lotus feet of Vaishnavas. And to become that, very difficult. You see, to become that, we have to be placed in very, very challenging situation. Because to crash our false ego, which is the cause of existing in this material world. Very difficult. So that's why sometimes Sharanagati means to minimize our understanding and maximize Krishna's place in our life. To put Krishna as the center, not ourselves. Does it make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
In Hindi, there is one saying, "Oot pahar ke samne apna sthiti dekhte hain." So camel, he can see himself, his size, when he comes close to Himalayas, to the mountain. Because in the desert, there is nothing to compare yourself. Only some snakes and lizards, and not even trees are there. That's why you are the biggest one in the desert. But when you come in, similarly, we may think that we are something special, super pooper. But when you come into association with devotees and comparing to the mountain-like devotees, you start to feel this of, oh, I have nothing. I am nothing. I am simply, Amito Kangala, Krishna, Yogyata Vichara Kichu Nahi Pai, Tumara Karuna Sara. Amito Kangala. We have to think that I am useless. See, Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, when they were Nawab Hussain ministers, prime minister and finance ministers, they were so smart. We don't want to discuss their qualities. They were super Saraswat Brahmanas. But somehow or other, when they came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they said, we are like a dwarfs trying to catch the moon. And they were feeling so humble by heart. The person who is humble, he doesn't know that he is humble. But the person who thinks, oh, see how humble I am, I can join my Hare Krishna Prabhu, I'm most fallen, Haribol, doesn't work like that. We actually have to feel that we are kattam.com. We are finished. We are completely useless, hopeless case. Like Draupadi. She had a tinge of pride and she was trying to protect herself. No. Krishna put her in such a turmoil that has to be, stripped from the dress in front of so many thousands of Kshatriyas. Can you imagine? Maharani, queen of the planet. She had to become, stripped in front of so many men of those days. And until she put two hands up, two hands, not one hand. First, she was trying to take shelter of bank account, of husband, ATM card, old-time Maya card. So now Krishna taking everything from everyone. Even bank account will crash one day. Then what are we going to do? Mrityu sarvaharas chaham. Krishna says, and I will come at the death. Therefore, better you surrender. Better late than never. That's why it's not optional. It's compulsory. We have to surrender to Krishna. Otherwise, na sukham na paramgati. So in very, very logical, very, very pleasing way. And to surrender to Krishna in a company of devotees is much easy because they're sharing their experience. And by that experience, we can learn how to cut off our false ego and how to become humble. Dasanu dasu bhavitasmi bhuya. How to serve devotees. That's basically the path, formula. By Vaishnava Seva Namaruche in Jiva Doya. And by sharing this knowledge with others. In this way, our heart becomes soft and we'll be able to find out. And for such people, Krishna said, if you do that, I'll give you intelligence from inside. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yina mam upayantite. How you can come to me. Because those who are proud people, they can never do seva. Hare Krishna. Very nice question, actually. It's like we're giving full seminar on Sharanagati. It's in few minutes very difficult to answer, but in brief, we have to develop the symptoms of Sharanagati.
And thank you so much. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mother
Patri
Prabhu
Prabhu
has a question.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Patri Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, I have a question.
Yes, please.
In our devotion, why we have the Ghana Taralta, sometimes we're interested in devotion service, sometimes we lose in interest.
Okay, so this is Anishtita Bhakti. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he explains that we're going through different stages. When we have the Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti. And Anartha Nivritti, there are so many stages. Vyuha Vikalpa, Taranga Rangini, Ganatarala. So sometimes we are very enthusiastic, sometimes we are very, very pessimistic. Reason is because we are still holding on material desires, basically. Because Ekeha Kuru Nandana. Krishna gives an example in Bhagavad Gita. Vyavasayatmika buddhi Ekeha Kuru Nandana Bahusakahinantasya Buddhayo Vyavasayanam. So he says those who mind very many branched, many. So that determination will never rise. And Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam, avyakta sakta chetasam. Our consciousness can become fixed, Bhoga Aishwarya, when we still want to enjoy in this material world. And that's why when this facility is given to us, we are happy. But when something was taken from us, which we expected to enjoy or whatever, then we become frustrated. So that's why whenever we are encouraged, when Guru glorifying us, oh, you're so nice, you're so nice. Oh, we like to do seva. But when somebody chastises us, oh no, I don't want. I want to leave this temple. Who cares? I don't want. And that's why we're always trying to get some stimulation all the time from external world. But real stimulation should be from our heart. We have to be santushta. We have to get satisfaction from the process itself. As Krishna says to Pandavas also, as well as to gopis, Naparayeham, I cannot repay you. You have to be the best gift and inspiration is your devotional service itself. So we have to, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, how we have to become always happy. Susukham kartumavyayam. But on three levels of happiness is there. On Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttamadhikari happiness. In Kanishta level, we are happy with external things, with nice prasadam, oh, very nice, nice temple, nice facilities, external things, we are happy. When we are coming to Krishna consciousness, everything new, hairstyle, like at least for me, it was hairstyle, oh, very nice devotees, external things we are inspiring us. Second stage, we are supposed to be happy. We're supposed to be happy with the process, with devotional service, what we are doing. We're taking, because situation may be difficult. But Madhyamadhikari is happy with reading Shastra, with chanting Hare Krishna, it's called sadhana. And on Uttamadhikari level, happiness comes from sadhya. We already connected with Krishna by the process. And on highest level, we feeling Krishna, Mai Pashyati Sarvatra. Krishna is everywhere, even in danger. He can see, even in death, you can see Krishna. Oh, Krishna, welcome, finally, please take me. I'm ready. He is never discouraged, even by the greatest danger, because he can see Krishna in it. Like Prahlad Maharaj was seeing everywhere. I know many devotees, those who in Vrindavan, they said the stories. They're always happy in any situation. So because they somehow are feeling Krishna, it's called Anubhava. You can feel your own experience, and Anubhava cannot be felt by anyone else. It's our own account. Jivan to sukha dukha mela, sabko jana parega ekela. So whatever happiness is for Kanishta Adhikari, Uttamadhikari or senior devotee, he's happy with different reasons already. Different buttons working for senior devotees. So like that. Even there is no prasadam, no problem. If there is no even good facilities, it's okay, because he is happy with his Magna Chittaha. Prahlad Maharaj is calling this Magna Chittaha. Dhruva Maharaj, he is offering prayers to Krishna and he is saying, Bhaktir muhuh pravahatam tvai me prasango bhuyat ananta mahatam malasayanam yenam jasobana marubhya sadam bhavabdhim nisye bhavad guna katham ritapanamataha. He says, my dear Lord, in this material world, there are so many dangers. Great dangers are there. They are like blazing fire, ready to eat us up. Coronavirus is nothing. Small, insignificant virus, nonsense. There are much more dangers. They can take our consciousness from your lotus feet. And these dangers can kill us and murder us, our consciousness. But as for me, I am not worried about that. Why? Because Yenam Jasobnam Gunakathamrita Panamatha. Yenam Jasobnam Rubesam Babim Nesye Bhavat Gunakathamrita Panamatha. I am intoxicated by your Kathamrita. I am very much, and Prahlad Maharaj saying same thing. I am simply intoxicated by Magna Chitta. I am simply enjoying by your Katha, by your activities. So we have to come to the level when we will be even at the moment of death, in coma, in disease, I don't know, whatever happened to us. This material body going to suffer anyway one day. So we have to take shelter inside. We have to take shelter in holy name, in Krishna Katha, and in association of devotees. So if devotee, Kanishta Adhikari, he doesn't know how to associate with devotees. He doesn't know. Only me and Krishna, bas. Others, he is elbowing everyone, you know. Only my Guru and Krishna, bas. That's why he is isolated. It's called Prithak Bhava, separatist mentality. That's why the separatist mentality on the level of 3 modes of nature. In Bhakti Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami explains that there are 3 different levels of separatist mentality in devotional service. When you're practicing bhakti in Rajaguna, Tamoguna, and Sattuguna. So there are 3 kind of separatists. Even in Sattuguna level of bhakti, there is separatist mentality may be there. And therefore devotees feeling lonely, frustrated, discouraged. Even the senior, you can say devotees. And he called it Dinadrik, Dinabhava, and Prithak Bhava. Dinadrik. Dinadrik is in Tamoguna, Dinabhava. This is in Rajaguna, and Prithak Bhava in Sattuguna, separatist mentality. And that separatist mentality and frustration and discouragement of practicing bhakti sometimes happens because of our motivation, something wrong with motivation. In Tamoguna, Jiva Goswami explains why we're losing enthusiasm. Why? Because motivation is wrong. In Tamoguna, externally we may be temple presidents and big preachers and ABC, GBC, doesn't matter who we are. But what is our motivation inside? In Tamoguna, our motivation is pride, envy, and hingsa. Hingsa means violence. Oh, he like this, I'll show him now how great devotee I am. And we're trying to create trouble for another devotee. Hingsa. Or, violence. All this is maybe envy. Matsarata also. It's envy is a motivation for devotee to do any seva. Sometimes devotee is so envious. Oh, he distributed so many books. Okay, I don't like that devotee. I'll prove that I can do better book distribution than him. Oh, he dressed deities. I know one devotee in our temple long back. He didn't like another pujari, you see. He didn't like him. And he happened to be also pujari. And whenever he will see how that pujari dressing deities, next day he is dressing much better. Just to defeat that devotee. And he used to come to me and said, Patri Prabhu, see, today deity is dressed much better, isn't it? And as I didn't know anything, I used to glorify him. Yes, very nice deity dress today, very good. But I know his motivation was envy of another pujari. You see, pujari will never be envious of driver or the cook. But cook, also we have also another case in Russia, we had one cook, he was making cakes. And another cook used to come and say, this is not good, dosha dristi. He used to find the fault in that cake. No, I can make much better. So cook will be envious of cook, pujari of pujari, Sankirtan devotee, temple president, and pot washer will never be envious of each other. So there's in Rajaguna, motivation is, if I'm not mistaken, this is desire for power, opulence, to control others, etc., and to be glorified. Yasha. Yasha means fame. Externally, very nice seva, tilak, Hare Krishna, you cannot even understand, but you can understand the person, his enthusiasm based on what motivation. And in Sattuguna, is also Jiva Goswami explained that separatist mentality can be understood by 3 motives, if I'm not mistaken. He said, for personal purification, Prabhu, I want to purify myself. Don't touch me, okay? Don't come to me. We're trying to separate us from others because we want our personal purification only. We cannot extend for the benefit of others because we worry about our own personal purification, which is good, but not as compassionate as it's supposed to be. As well as kartobya, I have to do it because I have to do it. Don't disturb me. I have to do my duty. So in this way, we separating ourselves from other devotees. And I'm always saying to my friends, also devotees, I said, see, sometimes to be right is not right. Sometimes you have to accept fault, which is not even your fault, but you have to accept fault just to solve the situation. Sometimes to solve the situation, you have to accept fault which doesn't belong to you. That's called generosity and greatness of the heart. To accept blame which not belong to you. But later on, time will show who is right. But sometimes to be right is not right. I'm sure we can give many examples. So, but sometimes people, they're so stubborn. No, I'm only right, my way or highway. They cannot bend themselves. They cannot become humble. So that's why it's very, very important. Mature devotee, he understands how to behave according to time, place, and circumstances in such a way so it can be beneficial for Krishna and for others. And then he is happy with that. He even ready to take all the sins of others on himself. Vasudeva Datta, you see? Jesus Christ. We had great celebration of Holy Sunday. You have Sunday now, we had yesterday. Jesus Christ took all the sins. Vasudeva Datta in Chaitanya Charitamrita explains, it's not his fault, but he ready to take the faults of others. Spiritual master giving initiation to his disciple, but he is ready to take all the karma of his disciple and suffer for that sometimes. Prabhupada used to say when he was sick, he used to show his body, see, my body is so weak. He used to catch the skin and said, I am suffering because of the sins of my disciples. Prabhupada said. That's why we have to be very, very careful. We have to actually be mature. And what used to push Srila Prabhupada every day to translate books, to, always push this movement. Push means pray until something happens. Motivation which guiding senior devotees, not necessary which susukham of the junior devotees. If junior devotee happy with only halwa and nice prasadam, and if he will not satisfy his desires and not fulfill, some life members coming and giving me, okay, give me check, I give you 10 rupees donation. And if you just don't do whatever he says, he becomes angry and never comes to temple. So who is in loss? Therefore, we have to change the mentality to be always happy. We should always think one thing. I'm always saying, when we are doing some service, especially for devotees, for mission, for Krishna, and it's not Krishna or devotees should be grateful that I am such a great seva doers. I am doing such a great seva. Everybody should be grateful to me. No. It's just 180% degree turn. No, we have to be grateful that Krishna and devotees kindly allowing us to serve them. That's all. Because Krishna doesn't need anything. Real devotees, they don't care. He doesn't need anything. Suraj ko deepak dikhana. So Krishna doesn't need anything from us because everything belongs to Krishna. We have to change the attitude. We have to be grateful that Krishna and devotees kindly allowing us to serve them. So in that attitude, you always will be happy. Sure, 100%. Does it make sense, Prabhuji? I'm sure you have that quality because you are pujari, you are always pushing in spite of so many challenges in temple. You are completely dedicated and so many years, you never give up. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Prabhuji,
Thank you very much.
Prabhuji has a question. Go ahead, sorry. Khagendra Prabhuji has a question.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Good to see you from Nepal.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, as we are here, we have so many coronavirus issues going on. And people are saying that why people are suffering here, why the God is not helping. What is the response, Prabhu?
Well, it's all seminar itself. Why bad things happen to good people, you see? Obviously, we have to understand that nothing happened, but even grass will not move without Krishna's desire, no? So Krishna, whatever happening, if we have trust that everything is as a reaction of prayers activities, there is a collective reaction also, collective reaction. Like, for example, even 20 people smoking cigarettes, and you not smoking cigarette, but by being in that room with smokers, your cloth will be affected. So you have to protect yourself. You have to put a mask. Similarly, in the sinful place, people have to suffer one day. It may be not sprouting immediately. It's called aprarabdha karma, or sometimes it's kuta, bija. There's different levels. And just because America or Europe or this planet, we didn't suffer for an X number of years, 100 years, it doesn't mean that reaction will not come. So, but if we can make analysis, actually I was doing analysis the other day, amount of abortions and social disturbances and nature disturbances. Human beings, they penetrated this nature in such an ugly way. We are destroying everything around ourselves. Resources, relationships, social relationship, spiritual relationship, we neglecting God, nirvishesha shunyavadi. Completely, actually, people forgot about God. Then Mother Nature has to shake human society sometimes. In fact, It's even written in Bhavishya Purana and in Shastra. Warning is given that will be epidemic diseases, will be natural disturbances, calamities, war, durbhika piditaha. Society will be disturbed. Heavy taxes will be implemented by the demoniac government. 12th Canto Bhagavatam. And we are reading this as a theory. Oh, it's not in our lifetime. Come on, it's in future. No, 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 no. जो कल करे तो आज, जो आज करे तो अब, पल में प्रलय होगी. It can happen right now with all of us. So that's why when we go into this difficult, terrible situation, we have to understand we are on a very sinful planet. And devotees willingly accepting the sufferings. Tapo tapyanti. In 8th Canto Bhagavatam, it said that willingly accepting the sufferings of other people is the greatest devotional service to the Lord by seeing Lord in the heart of each and every living entity. It was Lord Shiva when he's Nilakanta, when he took the poison. So willingly accepting sufferings of others. In fact, devotees sometimes willingly taking inconvenient situation for themselves in order to be able to reach out to the people. And you know, rate of preaching and rate of acceptance of spirituality nowadays much, much higher. When people are relaxing and enjoying, they don't have tendency to surrender to God. But dukh mein sumiran sob kare, sukh mein kare na koi. When difficulties comes, people have more tendency to surrender to God. Therefore, Kunti Maharani, she's praying, let these difficulties happen again and again, because when difficulties, there is chance to remember you, my dear Krishna. And by remembering you, there is no birth and death. One lifetime suffering is nothing. What about their next sufferings? Billions and millions of zillions of years of as the cockroaches and rats and snakes and rotting in hell. Therefore, Krishna sometimes giving some little slap. And devotees are reaching out and trying to explain to people that we have to embrace the situation and do maximum profit from that bargain. It's not the best situation. It's very, very unfortunate situation. We have to feel great compassion to all people, those who are suffering. But sometimes when patient is suffering from disease, it's duty of the doctor to explain that because you actually got infection, you have to protect. And in this case, Srila Prabhupada explains in 13th chapter, 22nd shloka of Bhagavad Gita, Karanam guna sangasya sat asat yoni janmashu. We are infected by the modes of material nature. And because human society living in Rajaguna and Tamoguna, they badly affected. And the result of these gunas are suffering. Nothing surprising. So better, my dear people, those who are suffering, read Bhagavad Gita, get the instructions, how not to do, how to do, do's and don'ts. So this is a situation when we have to address people. And the first goal of ISKCON is systematical education of human society in spiritual values in order to establish the balance and prosperity and peace in society. So this is opportunity for us. Like for Arjuna, it was battle. Now we have third world war, biological world war. It's nothing but war, my dear devotees. In Russia, I just yesterday got a phone call, 3,000 people dying every day. I mean, sorry, not dying, infected by this coronavirus. You shall see Italy, Spain. But you know what interesting thing is? In December month, devotees from Italy invited me to come. And they give me all invitations and documents and insurance, and they paid my ticket and my money, visa fee, everything they paid. But guess what? Embassy of Italy rejected my visa, Schengen visa. I was very much surprised that time. How come? I have Canada visa, US visa, Japan. I have all the visas. In spite of those, Dubai visa. In spite of all those visas, how come this tiny country rejected my passport? Come on. So then devotees, they told me, okay, no worries. After 1 month, we invite you to Germany. It's still Europe, you please come. So devotees from Germany, they sent me packet of documents and big invitation, official letter, all paid for my tickets and all money. And again, I applied, again, very lengthy process. I had to pay nearly 15,000 and 20,000 Indian rupees. And again, they rejected. Just see, amazing. And I was surprised. How come? What is the reason? In January, in the beginning of January, they rejected my visa to Germany, and we had international conference there. Devotee invited me for seminars, to give seminars there. And they give reason, we are very much afraid that you will not be able to return back. That's the reason they give me an embassy. That's why we're rejecting your visa. And after a few weeks, I became to know that there is heavy coronaviruses there. And after 1 month, I know that Italy and Germany are the worst countries to visit. So I think, oh, thank you, Krishna, thank you. It's very good that I didn't go there. So you never know. Sometimes whatever looks very not pleasing at the moment, who knows, maybe that is the benefit for you in the long term. So that's why we should not judge immediately. So when people suffering now, sometimes suffering is very, very educational. Sometimes it's, unless we are suffering, we can never wake up. Does it make sense? I give example of the father and the son who, father, he was making pots, you know, pots, clay pots, beautiful he was a mystery of pots, beautiful, like in Bhaktapur here in Nepal, we have Pottery Square, Prabhuji, he knows. So we have a square where people making beautiful pots, and natural parampara, father teaching the son how to make the similar pots. But father wants his son to be better than himself even. So his son, he was doing very beautiful pots, very beautiful pots. But father was always chastising him. Nonsense, useless, I don't like it. All people liked, they were admiring the pots of the son. Wow, you such a, but not father. And one day, son wanted to play a trick with the father. He made beautiful pot and hide it in the garden, inside the ground. He covered with the mud. And next morning they were walking with the father, and the son was imitating that he slipped. He fell down. So father, come see what I found here. And father, he unveiled, undiscovered the pot. Is, oh, this is very ancient pot. This is our forefathers did this pot. Such a beautiful. This is the example. You have to do like this. And then son was saying, oh, Papa, it's I did. I was joking. It's my pot. And father became very grave. And he said, what have you done? You stopped your progress. From today, you will not be able to do better than this. The whole purpose of chastisement was to make his son better and better and better. Does it make sense? That's why business of the guru is to catch the ear of disciple and always chastise him. It doesn't mean that he is, bad, but like in muscles, you have to always, when you're doing gym, but when after some time, 5 kilo, 10 kilo, 20 kilo, 50 kilo, you're still adding some plates, iron plates, whatever, chakra, to increase the weight so you can grow your muscles. Similarly, situation making, like in computer game, there's difficulties levels, first level difficulties, second level game levels, and when you're going and you're very professional, you have to willingly accept highest level of difficulties, so to become expert in the game. So similarly, in spiritual life, it's not going to be easy. Krishna increasing our difficulties, but he also gives us more and more happiness from inside. He's balancing everyone. Unless you are happy, you cannot take jabardasti, some difficulties. So because devotees, they don't mind to accept difficulties because they're happy inside. But materialistic people, they facing difficulties, but they don't have happiness. As they say in Nepal, Motomati dungara kera hasnu parnecha, to keep the big stone on the heart and smile. Like this, jabardasti, by force. Smiling faces, crying hearts. So for devotees, okay, Haribol, Haribol, you go to hell. Haribol, let's go to hell for preaching. Haribol, Haribol. Swarga pavarga narakesha pitulyartha darshina. Jaharam waha Ayodhya. Na? Whenever is Ram, there is Ayodhya. As long as devotees are there, no problem. Coronavirus, whatever virus is there, I tell you, even in here we have Zoom programs, Katha, and even difficulties, we have to get certain challenges in life and health problems. Well, we are trying to do our practical best. We have to put the mask, we have to protect ourselves from that virus. That has to be done. Nice to have the head among the clouds. You keep your legs on the ground. We are not foolish. We are not inviting that virus. Prabhupada was asked, if virus, is it karma? I said, no, this is disease. We have to protect ourselves. But at the same time, we have to be happy. Don't worry profit or the loss. Surrender life to Supreme Boss. And far and wide, try spread his fame by chanting sweet and holy name. When life, I will smile I wrote one stanza poem. I will smile through the sadness like shining sun through the clouds. I overcome my madness, free myself from doubts. When life will throw me down with no life light around, I firmly put on tilak and chant the holy sound. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And always we have to compare, is my difficulty now more than Pandavas or Prahlad Maharaj or Draupadi? Not like that. So I am just simply insignificant. My problem is also really universally insignificant. So don't bring your problem close to your eye. Otherwise it will close the sight of supreme goal. Just keep it as it is and chant Hare Krishna. In human life, you have a gift and opulence and treasure. The true devotees of the Lord who want to give him pleasure. Keep Guru's order in the heart. Example his behold. To whom you meet, give Krishna's feet 2 lotuses to hold. Hare Krishna. Does that make sense, Prabhuji?
Prabhuji, we had a question in the chat box. We are all hungry for questions. So there's one question. Out of the 3 A's,
right,
is there one that we can focus on the most, if not all the 3?
Well, attention, appreciation, and availability. 3. Which one you would like to focus on? If you focus on attention, it gives appreciation and availability. If you're attentive to the needs of others. How many of you heard non-violent communication skills system? Have you heard? Non-violent communication. It's a principle of association, right? So Professor Marshall in US only, he gives example of 2 kinds of people, jackals and giraffe. It's called empathy. Giraffe is the biggest animal in the planet which has the biggest heart, because to pump the blood to the head, it takes so much muscles of heart, biggest heart. So people, those who have this giraffe-like heart, they have empathy. They feel what others feel. And jackals, seal, they jackling, they criticizing everyone, they completely dissatisfied, they frustrated, they finding faults, and they just simply backbiting everything and throat cutting. That mentality of people are there, demons and demigods. So the all nonviolent communication means to transfer our heart from jackal-like to giraffe. That's all system how to do that. And basically, it's a system about to understand the needs and feelings of others. If others feeling discomfortable and we are attentive to their feelings, we start to feel what others feel, we can understand what kind of needs not satisfied. And there are many universal needs. If somebody irritated, if he's frustrated, it means maybe he didn't get the chance to express himself. He doesn't have friendship. He doesn't feel loved, etc., etc. There's a big list of needs which may be not fulfilled in the human being. That's why he's behaving like that. So that's why if you're attentive to the needs of other people, you understand the feelings, what they go through, you understand their needs, and you will become always nice. Because nice means to understand needs, interest, concern, and expectations of others. Nice. So I would suggest to be attentive as if you want to choose out of 3, you choose 1 to be attentive. Does it make sense? And then you'll become appreciative also. Because to appreciate others for very little bit, whatever they do, it's nothing costly. Somebody, when Prabhupada was giving lecture on 22nd Avenue, one drunkard guy came and gave toilet paper. You remember that story, right? And Prabhupada said, thank you. He began his devotional service. Thank you, by appreciating. Does it make sense?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Swati Mataji has a question.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. My question was that, devotee association is important to make spiritual progress, but sometimes because of differences of opinion or differences in personalities, we can inadvertently, make aparadhs, offenses, and that can actually destroy all spiritual merit and we can fall from bhakti. So that is a concern. How do we avoid making inadvertent, aparadhs, and how do we avoid falling down?
So can you briefly repeat the question? So means how we don't want to fall down back because of the bad association?
No, they say that you need devotee association, you need sadhu sang to really make progress in bhakti. You can't do it alone. But when you are in a group of devotees, inadvertently you can end up offending someone because people have different personalities, or differences of opinion could arise, and there's no intention, but sometimes you can end up hurting someone, and because it's an offense against a devotee, it's an aparadh, and you can fall down. So if it were a non-devotee, there's less, it's only bad karma, but here it's a big offense. So how do you make progress in bhakti, and how do you deal with these aparadhs which unintentionally could happen?
Very, very important question. Thank you, Mataji. Actually, first very good, very, very important quality is to forgive and forget. Forgive and forget. Because we have to let it go. We have to not hold, we should not hold on the grudges. Somebody stepped on my finger and I'm keeping since after 20 years, still remember that. No, all devotees, this was one thing. And Rupa Goswami, he explains in Nectar of Instructions, this very, very essential six exchanges between the devotees to establish this Priti Lakshana. Because misunderstanding is unavoidable, it must happen. Misunderstanding took place even in Srila Prabhupada's life, in Krishna's life, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life. This material world of quarrel and hypocrisy, Kali Yuga. Misunderstanding will be there. Prabhupada said, you can never expect utopia here. Never. It will be something, kabhi kuch, kabhi sukhi, kabhi gam, kabhi thanda, kabhi garam. Something going to happen. So that's why it requires maturity to continue and to be able to forgive and forget each other for the higher purpose. Like in family life, sometimes husband and wife. It's not like always smooth, happy life every day. No, sometimes you don't like what he likes, or sometimes you like what she doesn't like. So love is about sacrificing your own. You have to be able to step on the throat of your own song. It's not your way should be always there. Whatever is auspicious for the highest cause, that's why real friendship and association is a group of people for whom doesn't matter who will take the credit. We should not be worried about only our own credit. We have to develop that nishkapatya bhava and nishvarta. Ahaituki apratihata yatma suprasidati. You'll be very, very happy when you have these two things. Ahaituki, no any motivational, na dhanam, na janam, no, all these basic things. Ahaituki and apratihata, continuously. Even you're dissatisfied with something, you still continue pushing. Continue do it. It will go away. And we have to also, another thing, we have to use the 6 exchanges. In fact, this very, very most often question asked from me also. Why? Because of this devotee, of that devotee, they criticizing you, how I can continue with them, how I can continue. No, because whatever happens around us is nothing but reflection of what we inside us, really. Because people, they don't care how much you know. They want to know how much you care. And this is, give gifts, to receive gifts, to open the heart and to hear some secret from others, to feed them and to receive the prasadam from them. 6 sadviti priti lakshanam. But we have to understand with whom to associate. We have to rise ourselves to the intermediate level, madhyama level, because in madhyama level, people, they understand with whom to associate, how. With envious people, he avoids. And envious people, not necessarily karmi and outside materialistic people. Envious people pretty much can become devotees also. Who is devotee? We are trying to become devotee, as Prabhupada said. We are all so much contaminated with different modes of nature. And so we have to know how to keep the distance. And I will give you a suggestion, not philosophy. Philosophy, it's practical and too much philosophy already. We know everything already. But practical suggestion, which I am using personally, it's called respectful distance. Respectful distance. Does it make sense? It means the distance from which you can still feel respect to somebody. And when you start to disrespect person, it means you cross the line of the respectful distance. With somebody, it can become very, very small distance. With best friends, you can even smash him, beat him, wrestle with him, even speak bad words. Badmas, murk. But he'll not take it seriously because you're very close, you know. But with some person, even you look at him in different way, he will become offended. Why you looking at me like this? So it means you have to keep bigger distance from him. But you have to respect everyone. And you have to choose for yourself. You have to decide which distance to keep with whom. With envious people, you're keeping big distance. For young devotees, you are helping. With friends, you are making friendship. And with seniors, you are in service attitude. You are serving them. And therefore, it is explained that we have to keep distance from the king, from politician, from envious people, from the fire, from the guru, from a woman or man. We have to keep proper distance. Then relationship will be healthy. If you're crossing that distance, then new fight. We are fighting because we are still not mature in consciousness. We have to really be positive and tolerate. Tolerance. We have to give respect without expecting respect for ourselves. And you see, when we are actually very, very satisfied in Krishna consciousness, we start to emanate very positive energy. I give you example. I gave yesterday this example. When one saintly person came to one village, and in that village people were criticizing him very badly. Very badly they criticized him. They throw very bad names at him. You rascal, escapist, lazy bum. And that saintly person folded his hands and he was listening to them for a long time. And after some time he told, I have to go to another village, guys. I have some lecture there. After that program finished, I'll come back to your village and you can continue criticize me, no problem. You can continue what you are thinking. You tell me more. So people became dumbfolded, you know, they're surprised. How come we're criticizing him and he is not affected at all? And he said, look, actually, you'll be affected only when you're accepting what people telling. If you're not identifying yourself and you're not accepting those stones, you're not affected. But if you really start to think, oh, I actually deserve, I'm identifying myself with all these bad words, then you'll be affected. So similarly, like somebody bringing the fire and you're putting this fire in the cold water of the river, fire will become extinguished and finished. And it become black log of wood inside that cold river of water, you know, body of water. Similarly, when people criticizing you, but you inside, you have cool flow of bhakti, that criticism will be extinguished and finished because you have that cool breeze, cool current of your mind. So you have to stay cool. And according to Shastra, it is explained, you know, in Srimad Bhagavatam, this very, very famous shloka. You know, this very famous shloka about 3 things happens when you're practicing bhakti. You see, bhakti parishanu bhavo viraktir anyatra chaisatri eka kalaha prapadyamanasya yathasnataha syuh tushtis pushtit kshud apayunughasam tushti pushti and virakti anyatra. Anyatra chaisatri eka kala. It is said that, you know, given an example, when you're eating food, basically 3 things happens. You're satisfying your body, you're nourishing this body, you're getting satisfied, happy, and you become detached from the food. Naturally, ho gaya. Bird comes. No? Similarly, when you're practicing bhakti parishanu bhavo, 3 ekakala, 3 things happens. When you're practicing bhakti, you will become happy. Tushti pushti vairakti anyatra. Tushti, you become satisfied. Susukham, you are happy. And people will tell you, you're a fool. Yes, Haribol, I'm fool. Amar Guru, Amar Murkho dekho koriya sasan. my Guru Maharaj told me I'm fool number one. Thank you very much. You will not be affected. Once Srila Prabhupada said to his disciples, you are all fools. And everybody became very, very upset. But one disciple who was sitting right in front of Srila Prabhupada, he said, yes, Prabhupada, I'm fool. And Prabhupada said, no, aapko chor ke. Except you, everybody fools, but not you. You are intelligent. Why? Because to understand that I'm fool, it requires intelligence. Therefore, you are intelligent. So we have to understand that we came to this material world. We are fools. We are doing so many nonsense mistakes ourselves. And therefore, it's better to give respect to others and never expect respect for yourself, because at the end of the life, you will never regret that. By giving respect, you are not losing anything. Does it make sense? This is very, very difficult to understand. When people criticizing you, when Peter, he asked Jesus Christ, how come when people criticizing you 7 times, how to forgive them? And he said, you have to forgive them 7 times 7. It means 49 times for one mistake, you forgive them. Does it make sense, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
And you know, have you heard the name? Have you heard the name in India? Mataji Sindhutai. Sindhutai.
Yes.
From Pune.
Yes.
Have you heard?
Yes, Prabhuji, I have.
So she was so much in trouble, and father and then the husband kicked her out from the house. She went through so much to commit suicide. You know all the story. And at the end, she was able to forgive her husband. She forgave him for whatever he had done to her.
So Prabhuji, it's not so much like us forgiving. If someone is not forgiving us, what do we do?
No, that's his problem. You have to forgive him. He may not forgive, that's his problem. He will deal with Krishna. Krishna will deal with him. But you should not be affected. You see what can be done? When you're taking, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj used to say, when you're taking the koila and you want to throw at somebody, it's question mark whether you will hit him or not. But you will be burned. When you're taking koila to throw, red hot, fire like koila, to throw, to criticize somebody. No, your mood already karab ho gaya na. So you already disturbed. That person will be disturbed or not by your criticism, by my, it's another thing. So similarly, you know, don't worry, my father used to tell me, you know, my personal father experienced it, don't take heavy things in your hands and crazy things in your head. Be positive, really. Because you cannot change, as Gaur Gopal Prabhu saying always, can you change the situation? No. If you cannot, then why you worry? And if you can change the situation, yes, I can, then why you worry? Change it. Or even you can just simply walk away. Nobody forcing you to be with that person or in that company. We have to choose the company where we will be inspired before we expire.
Thank you so much.
Dhananjay Krishna Prabhu has a question.
If you can kindly apply these 3 A's, please, you make exercise. 3 A's, available, appreciative, and attentive. And I really strongly suggest to some devotees, you have time now, you can go through one book, very nice book also, which can help to establish relationships very much. This book, it's not devotional book. I read this book as a manager, as a psychologist, as a preacher. This book called Anatomy of Peace. Write it down. It's written by American Institute of Management, Arbinger Institute of Management. It's called Anatomy of Peace. And another small book is Leadership, Self-Deception, Getting Out of the Box. Leadership, self-deception, getting out of the box. Because very often we are thinking that I'm right. And that's why Anatomy of Peace. What is the formula? How to be always happy, even in challenging situations. The small books, please kindly go through. Very, very nice.
Next question is from Dhananjay Krishna Prabhu. After that, there is one question in the chat box. But Dhananjay Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have a question. Like, as we always heard, Rakhe Krishna Mare Ke, Mare Krishna Rakhe Ke. In this situation, like, we should think this, or we should think by common sense, like we should not go out, or if like that.
Well, common sense is very much uncommon nowadays. Very often it's uncommon. And as I said, that it's that we see the situation according to our consciousness. It's called Atmavan Manyate Jagat. In the eyes of flower, all world is like flower. But in the eyes of thorn, all world is thorny. So basically, whatever consciousness we have, we can see everything according to our consciousness. But as we said, we should not assume. Assume. Yesterday we had a similar discussion about Bali and Sugriv. How they, Ram Tulsi Prabhu was mentioning that Bali and Sugriv, when he went to fight with the demon inside a cave and it didn't come for a long time, Sugriv assumed must be he is killed there. So he covered that cave with stones. But Bali was not killed. When he came out from the cave and said, this rascal Sugriv, he want to take my kingdom. He want to become king. He assumed that Sugriv is his enemy. But he was not. So similarly, very often we assume things which are actually not reality. I tell you my personal example, Mataji. Common sense, in terms of common sense, which is uncommon. I was vice president of Allahabad temple and from many years ago. And we invited Russian architect. My Guru Maharaj told me, this is the land given by one Benares king, Raja, Kashi Maharaj, Dan Didi. So on the bank of Yamuna. And that king, he was 90 years old that time. He told me, Beta, tum mandir banaoge Bhagavan ke liye. So can you make temple for Krishna? And I told him, yes, Maharaj, I'll try. So me, Madhai Prabhu, Svigraha Prabhu, some few devotees, I brought one architect from Russia, and somehow or other we make a temple there, establish beautiful deities, Radha Bini Madhava. And but we didn't have devotees. And I was calling many brahmacharis and devotees inspiring. So finally we had devotees. One day, very old man came to me. His name was Subramanyam from Calcutta. And a very old man, 60 years old, something like that. And he told me, Prabhuji, I was traveling all over the India for 5 years. And I heard one katha of an ISKCON devotee in Calcutta. And I became inspired to become spiritual. He was contractor, businessman. And after that, for 5 years, I was traveling all over the India. And I visited all the possible spiritual organizations like Shankaracharya, Brahma Kumari, Om Shanti, everybody I visited. Okay? And finally, I realized ISKCON temple and Srila Prabhupada is the only proper place to be. So I came and please kindly give me shelter at your temple. Can I distribute Prabhupada's books? I love Prabhupada's books. I want to distribute them. So I was very impressed because I was Sankirtan devotee. I love Prabhupada's distribution books. Okay, stay. And I gave him place to temple to stay. And after a few weeks, brahmacharis started to complain to me. Patri Prabhu, he is not waking up for Mangalarti. He is not coming for Guru Puja. He is eating tobacco. So it was too much. But I was tolerating. But one night, 11 o'clock at night, I heard some big sound, fight going on in Brahmachari Ashram. I opened the door and I found that old man, Subramanyam, fist fighting with one brahmachari, young brahmachari. So I was thinking, oh my God, what to do now? So I came in between, I separated them. Shut up, what are you nonsense doing? And then this brahmachari said, Patri Prabhu, he not following sadhana, he is not coming for programs, he is eating tobacco, gutka. He cannot stay in our ashram. So I was thinking, I have to use my common sense. This is the person who was coming by 7 o'clock morning. He used to take many books with him and go out, and he used to come back evening time, distributing all the books and incense. He was preaching all day and coming late night to temple back. So, but I was thinking maybe something wrong. he is not following the principles of temple life, eating gutka tobacco, I think we have to take him out from the temple. So I, using my common sense, no, it's too much, it means too much. He is not following program of temple. He is not following principles, eating tobacco, intoxication, finish. We have to request him to go out. And I called him next morning to my office. And I asked him, Subramanianji, I'm very sorry because you're creating disturbance in the temple, okay? And you not following the program, you not following the principles, you go out from temple. I'm very sorry because temple devotee is disturbed. And believe me or not, he folded his hands and he started to cry. Please, please don't kick me out from the temple, please. But I told him, see, I am like your son. I was much younger than him. I was like his son only. So I said, look, you're not coming for Mangalarti. What can I do? But he said, no, Prabhuji. Actually, I wake up 3 o'clock morning. But my severe back pain, I just cannot stand up early morning. It was very cold, Magh Mahina. So very cold. So I'm sitting inside my blanket and I'm finishing my 16 rounds before 5 o'clock. But I'm in the bed. I wake up. You can ask devotees. I wake up early morning. All right. Then I said, well, but during Guru Puja, 7 o'clock, you wake up and walking away from the temple. He takes the bag and leaves the temple exactly when Guru Puja time. How come there is Guru Puja glorification of Prabhupada and you're walking away in front of everyone? Not attending Guru Puja. Then this Prabhuji said, Prabhuji, you see, I have back pain and I have Ayurvedic doctor here in Balwaghat, in Kashiraj Nagar. And there's only Ayurvedic doctor. He is very busy all day. The only time he has to treat me is 7:15 morning. That's why he gave me an appointment and I have to visit my doctor every day, 7:15. That's why I have to leave temple. What to Majburi? I have to leave the temple. Oh no, it's for my treatment only. But then I throw another reason, common sense. But you are eating tobacco, you're eating. And then say, Prabhuji, this is not tobacco. And he took from his pocket, it was packet of some kind of powder. And said, this is tulasi powder, tulasi. My doctor told me you have to dry in the sun tulasi and make powder and eat on empty stomach because it's very good for digestion. I have stomach problem also. So he told me to eat dry tulasi. This is tulasi only, this is not tobacco. Oh no, I was really affected. He started to cry, I started to cry. I embraced him and said, no, okay, you stay in temple, no problem. Because he was such a preacher. But externally, we may understand something else. We have to be extremely careful. Don't judge devotees. Right? Because you don't understand their mentality. What is the motivation? They may be not right, but by result, you can understand. In my life, I was misunderstood so much. With my mother, with my parents, with my family members, I was very badly misunderstood. But it will take time. We have to be tolerant. You see, I was very badly misunderstood by some leaders in Nepal, very badly. Well, what to do? I had my mission and I had to do it. You see, that's why Prabhupada used to say, if you really want to become a preacher or leader, and in ISKCON, it happened to be that everybody, leaders, Prabhupada said, I am creating Brahmanas, this spiritual knowledge, Gyana Dipena Bhashvataha, Gyanka Deepak. We are showing this light of knowledge for misguided civilization. Every single devotee is a guru for nowadays crazy society. Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma yat indriya prithaya prinoti. Pramatta means prakrishta rupena mattaha, crazy society. People going to hell. You see? And it's never late to take a U-turn, however long you're traveling in the wrong direction. So every devotee of ISKCON is a guru. So that's why we have to treat everyone as a leader. But Prabhupada said, every leader has to be ready to go through 3 stages. First, they will criticize you, then they will listen to you, then they will worship you. But it takes time. First, they will criticize you, maybe all life. And then they will listen to you, and like Jesus Christ, and then they will worship you. But unfortunately, in ISKCON or in this world, people worshiping others when they're dead already. Oh, actually, he was a very nice man. Why not in this lifetime? So we have to understand, we have to appreciate others. And to try to understand why he is doing what he is doing. Makes sense, no? Don't use your common sense, use Guru Sadhu Shastra. And of course, common sense also there, definitely, which is based not on the sentiments, but on Guru Sadhu Shastra. That's why we have GPS. When you're driving the car, you have GPS, no? Guru Parampara system.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Is it answering it? Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. And one more thing, like, should we help devotees if someone needs help in this situation? Like, sometimes we have seen someone has one family member at home and they need help. So should we help them or not? Like, or should we think ourselves?
In any case, we always have to help, because helping hand will never be empty. Helping hand, will never be empty. But the only thing, what kind of help? There is 3 kinds of help: in Tamoguna, Rajoguna, and Sattoguna.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains 3 kinds of charity. And we have to know to whom to help how. Because, some charity or help can be given in Tamoguna. Example given, one guy in Mumbai, he coming from the nightclub at night, and he gives a quarter whiskey bottle, vodka, Ruslan vodka, to some beggar. Lela, Dakshina, take, it's from my side to you, gift. He helped him, but he did it in the wrong time, wrong thing, to the wrong person. In Rajoguna, people want to help others, but they want to be recognized. They want to get some benefit, subtle benefit. Mera naam hona chahiye na? You have to glorify, you have to appreciate what I'm doing. You have to, why you like this? You have to appreciate, I'm such a great Danveer, Mahavir, Danveer. I'm giving you 10 rupees, or $10. You have to be thankful to me. No. We have to be thankful that Krishna gave us opportunity to serve. If I have opportunity, I have facility to share something, my knowledge. Like, for example, okay, I may not be able to give you some financial support, for example, in my case. But in my case, I may have a little bit, some few extra realizations, whatever, little bit bits and pieces of knowledge I have. So I'm stretching myself to the out of comfortable situation, pretty much uncomfortable situation, because this time I'm supposed to chant my japa. It's now already 7:30 and all my japa time gone. But for me, more important to be with all of you. Japa I can finish somehow or other. But I really love my Brahma Muhurta time, really, because it's the best time for me to chant japa. But no pain, no gain. You can never discover new land unless you're willing to give up the sight of seashore. Ship is very safe in a harbor, but it's not what is made for. It's made for sacrifice. For the sake of others, we have to stretch ourselves from out of comfortable zone. You see? So similarly, when we are trying to help somebody, we have to see what is our motivation. And in Sattoguna, you're doing these things for right person in the right time for the noble cause. Therefore, if it's proper cause, don't worry, profit or the loss. Surrender life to Supreme Boss. And we should never be proud of any facilities we got, whether it's intelligence, whether it's position, whether it's administrative power, whether it's money. Hey guys, it's nothing belong to us, by the way. We are simply nimitta matra. Due to some karma, somebody got maybe a little bit extra few dollars. For some good karma, somebody got position maybe, leadership qualities, or somebody ability to preach. When I'm preaching, it's not I'm better than you. Simply I'm using my capacity in the service to Krishna and devotees. That's all. And somebody, we are all different, That's why in Nepal there is one wonderful song, national anthem. Sayo Tunga Fulko Hami Yeutam Mala Nepali. Means we are all different flowers of different colors, different shape. But together we can make bouquet or one garland. Sayo Tunga Fulko Hami Yeutam Mala Nepali. We are all garland and we united by the thread. And that thread is Krishna. God unites us. Vasudeva Kutumbakam. If everybody we have that understanding, believe me, no one of us will become sane. No one. There is no single person who has the same guna karma. We're all different. That's why this is a Krishna knowingly sometimes putting opposite people together. Ab dekho, na. You have to learn. Usually Krishna putting us with the people who can teach us the lesson and quality which we don't have. And we can see the fault, the same fault we have, we can see in others. So that's why it is exactly that quality we have to work out. Does it make sense? So we have to be thankful.
Very nice. Yes.
There's a question in the chat box. And
Yes.
this question is that when you are kind, nice, loving, caring, and devoted to people, what do you do when these people are always mean and pushing you back? Do you continue being nice and loving?
It's question for me, because I'm always in this situation very often. To be manager is very thankless task, I tell you, very, very thankless task. And to be a leader or whatever, because you always, like Mother, I love this poem of Mother Teresa. You know, when you do good to people, they'll always will be dissatisfied. Anyway, continue do good people. Whatever you construct all your life, people can destroy in one night. Never mind, continue constructing. Do it anyway. If you can give whatever you have to others, it will be never enough for them. Anyway, continue giving everything. If you are happy, people will doubt you and criticize you. Anyway, continue to be happy anyway, because at the end of the day, it's between you and God, not between you and them anyway. So, if you are sincere and honest, if your motivation is correct, do it anyway. Help people. You give them flour and they will throw the stone and you give them flour. They throw in the stone and you give them flour. You see? That's the mood of Nityananda Prabhu. Madhai kicked him in the head and he gave him Krishna Bhakti. That's the most interesting mentality of Vaishnava. Even Vaishnava criticized. And that's why this is a shloka in first canto Bhagavatam. First canto Bhagavatam, when you are killed, only yesterday only I was reading this shloka. You know, if you're criticized, if you're humiliated, even you are chastised or killed, humiliated, devotee never counteract, he never replies, he never fight back. No, it's okay, he is humble. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Trinada pisu nichena, tarora pisa ishnuna. Trin, grass. You have to be more humble than the grass. What does it mean? It means when somebody steps on the grass and then walks away, grass again come up. But to be more humble, somebody steps on you and you not fight back. You still remain in that position. That's okay. If you are right, don't worry, Krishna will recognize it. But at the same time, doesn't mean that we have to go and embrace the tiger. We have to be realistic, not crazy. We have to be practical. That's why we given the Shastra how to avoid people. For you to be wise, where ignorance is bliss. Again, Ananda, udhar buddhiman nahi hona chahiye. Why we have to put ghee into kharani? If there is ashes, there is no, don't give advice unless you are hired. Krishna never gave Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna unless he asked him for. Shishyasteham sadhivam tam prapannam. So we have to always think, is it beneficial? Is it right or proper? You know, and will it be helpful for that person? You understand? We always have to understand, if you want to help somebody or be with somebody, is my presence helpful? Is it right to do? Or maybe the same advice can be given by somebody else. Doesn't matter who will give the medicine. Main thing, person has to become cured. But if you want to say, oh, I am the only doctor here, only I will teach him. No, wait. It doesn't matter who put the goal. Main thing, teamwork. Together, everyone achieves more, no? Team. Like in football, doesn't matter who will put the goal. When our team will win, everybody will get golden medals. 22, 25 people. 11 people, those who are playing, 11 extra players, their medical team, coach, you know, all the guys will get golden medal and salary. Just because one Maradona or Pelé put goal, doesn't mean that everybody lost. No, doesn't matter who will put the goal. Anyone who is close to the gate, we have to pass to him. That's why it's very, very important to share and to become team, shoulder to shoulder, to share the same platform, same group blood, Very often happen, even in ISKCON, like blood, it's a red color, but group is different. B plus, B minus, we mix, katam.com. So we have to, it's called Svajatiya. Svajatiya, Ashabandha and Snidha. Rupa Goswami tells 3 qualities. Svajatiya means equal-minded devotees. And this equal-minded devotee never happens overnight. It's great investment, sacrifice. Like in Nepal, we have such a wonderful family. Such a wonderful family, honestly speaking. I'm so proud to be here and to have such a wonderful Vaishnavas, juniors, seniors, we have all kind of devotees here. And it's many, many years of investment of blood and sweat and sacrifice. We are investing in the trust bank of others. So sometimes you can withdraw if you invest something. You cannot withdraw unless you invested something. Similarly in relationships also. Similarly with your community, you see, I'm so happy to see all your faces, Dhananjay Prabhu, Mataji, Ramachandra Prabhu, all of you. We are together with you. Why? Because it was already years and years relationships. How many times I visited New Jersey, how many times, even in difficulties, we are side by side with each other. And geography is not the question, isn't it? It's not a question of geography. Andar ka mamla, Rupa, yeah, andar ka mamla. And then, unless we have relationships, we have relationships, do you think I'm crazy to sit here 2 hours like that, wasting time? Somebody else calling me, so many people calling me, Prabhuji, we have to have class with you. Well, I'm very reluctant, honestly speaking, because I have only 24 hours. You see, and I have so many things to do. But because I know you are always there for us, we are always there for you. So in this way, when somebody, I remember how many times you were helping, how times we were together. So that's what relationships at the end of the day, what we have. We don't have big projects, all these temples. No, what we have each other. We have each other. That's the main value. That's greatest opulence. That's what I told you. In human life, we have a gift, an opulence and treasure. The true devotees of the Lord who want to give him pleasure. So devotee is a real treasure. Because the devotee will be those people who will help us at the moment of night. Or at the moment of death. These people will be by our side. So why don't we respect and expect and appreciate them now? Hare Krishna. I hope it's making sense, no?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you very much. So I have a question, and I relate to a lot of points you mentioned, because as one of the leaders in the community and trying to serve, it is important to keep that enthusiasm, and to give that enthusiasm, I have to be enthusiastic as well. And behind the scenes, there's criticism. At times I would fall short of doing things. At times there is not recognition, there is not appreciation, and many things happens. But still, as we choose that I want to preach and I want to make a difference, we go out there being enthusiastic. And one time, one devotee asked me that, Prabhuji, I've never seen you complain or things like that, but I'm sure you go through all these things that we also go through. I'm sure you also have pains, but you never say it. And I just laughed at that point. And it is true, but the level of surrender that you have and the preaching that you're doing every moment, every day, in and out, I wanted to know, what do you do at that point? Because yes, I'm sure there are times when, or all the time, that you are criticized even for, somebody may be sitting right now and thinking that, today's class
even from GBC level. Even
yes.
From GBC level, sometimes I was criticized very badly.
Yes, and even now it may be like your answers are too long, or why has the class gone too far, although you're trying to preach and help us. So how do you in those times keep yourself energetic and upbeat so that next morning when you wake up, you can again go in that same mood and same spirit and just smile and not show what you're going through inside?
What a movie. Don't take don't take things seriously in this material world, because nobody going to escape alive from here, you see. Don't take it seriously. When you're sleeping, you know, and some horrible dream is there, you wake up, oh my God. Woohoo. But don't take it seriously. It's just dream. The only reality is holy name, devotees, you know, and Krishna. Somehow we are stuck in this material world, really, and this bad profit from bad bargain. And one thing what I do always, I is keeping examples of very enthusiastic devotees. One of them, Srila Prabhupada. You know, now I'm reading a very nice book. It's called Srila Prabhupada, Friend for All. I'll show you. This is the book. This is our Srila Prabhupada, A Friend to All. Very, very nice book. See how Prabhupada is smiling? And you know what kind of troubles he went through? I would recommend you read these books. How he was determined to follow the order of his spiritual master. I don't want to tell you very long stories, because one meeting is never enough. You see, otherwise somebody will criticize me. Oh no, again, another story. So, but I'm telling you, read this book and keep, if you're slow, you have to catch somebody who is running a little bit more faster than you. One thing. Another thing, if you're not standing for something, you fall down for nothing. If you have gold, it's achievable. And what actually inspires me, the horizons of plans. We have many, many creative plans. And when we have many, many wonderful plans, then it's inspiring you. Wow, so many things to do for Krishna, amazing. But when you're boring, everything bad, boring, what to do? But we have to be always enthusiastic to keep new and new plans, because our life is like movie. Krishna doesn't want to play with somebody boring, you know. Krishna likes very much fun, and, you know, Krishna, you have to make your life in such a way so Krishna would like to take you to play with him. You have to be, actually it's fun, you see, fun. Even people in trouble, it's another side of the coin, you know, it's also another fun. Krishna, because we can see always Krishna behind that. So that's why nobody wants to watch boring movie, you know, like, oh, boring movie. But everybody wants to see the serial, new and new movie. So every morning I wake up and I'm thinking, Krishna, what kind of serial today? New episode. Every day is new episode. And sometimes it's comedy, sometimes it's drama, sometimes it's romance, sometimes fight. What to do? It's like Mahabharata. Mahabharat. Therefore, don't take too much seriously. And if you are positive, so be positive. And perhaps also one of the reasons my group blood is be positive. So that's why it's hopeless case. You have to be positive. What to do? Because group blood like that only. So my suggestion, be positive. Even you're O positive, or even you're O negative. You have to be negative about this material world, and you have to be positive for Krishna consciousness. Because anyway, Krishna promised, I'll take you back to Godhead. What's big deal? So we are on the way. We are back to Godhead on the way. Come on, what's problem? No problems. Even sometimes it's bumping, you know, that's okay. Sometimes turbulence is there. But we have oxygen mask of Srila Prabhupada's instructions and Vaishnava association. Isn't it? Don't, like, it was one flight, and there were 4 people in that flight. One is professor, one is prime minister, another one student and pilot. And they had only 3 parachutes. And all of a sudden, flight started to crash. Engine crashed. So pilot came out and said, gentlemen, I am pilot of a ship, so I have right for 1 parachute. He grabbed 1 parachute and jumped. So then Prime Minister said, I am Prime Minister of country. I have full right for another parachute. I have big responsibility. He grabbed and jumped. So professor and student left. So professor told, my dear son, you are a young boy. You have to continue living. Let me die, because we had only 3 parachutes. And the student said, no, professor, you take parachute. I have 1. How come? We had only 3 parachutes. Yes, we have 3 parachutes, but Prime Minister, in his haste, he was too much in hurry. By mistake, he took my school bag and he jumped. So sometimes in the being too much worried about the situation, we are grabbing wrong things which cannot give us shelter. You should, real parachute is association of devotees, serving to devotees, Jiva Dvaina Maruchi Vaishnava Seva, and be always connected to the service in whatever form. Brahmana, Brahma, go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. Achyuta, Brahmanas and Dharma. We discussed today. And that's why Brahmana, go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. Cows, you connect yourself to some. Nowadays, I'm sure that life will never be the same. I'm telling to our devotees here, we have to go to ecological life. We have to go to self-sufficiency. People will be forced to live simple life, simple living, high thinking. Because this modern civilization going to collapse one day or another. So that's why the best way to serve Vaishnavas is to stay together, and this is real opulence. So grab that parachute. It will save you at the moment of death. Especially holy name, real parachute. People try to take shelter of vaccine, try to take, different shelter of disease. Anyway, disease. It's not easy anyway.
Prabhuji,
so anyway, thank you very much.
There's one question from Christina Mataji. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Christina? Who's Christina?
Yes, please.
Had raised her hand.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, go ahead,
Hare
please.
Krishna.
Sorry, this unfortunately, what happened?
so I want to add, if there is nothing, I had the similar question, Prabhuji, last time.
Just pause a second. I think Christina was trying to speak. Just 1 second. Christina, are you there?
I think she doesn't have a question, Prabhu. By mistake, it was
okay.
raised.
Okay. Who's speaking?
Me Kripalu Gaur Sundar Das.
Okay, go ahead.
From Nepal only. Your question exactly was matching with my question 3 years ago with Patri Prabhu. Actually, I wanted answer for my question also, because I was in Kathmandu, and then I asked him, Prabhuji, actually I know that you've been through all these phases of struggle in preaching Krishna consciousness in Nepal. So many bad things happened, so many misunderstood you, so many devotees and so many leaders also. So, but still you have such enthusiasm. How you maintain this enthusiasm? Where's the foundation behind it? So I was asking same question, but he told me that, okay, Kripalu, I will be coming there and we will be doing this. It is very long. So he came to our center, and when he came to our center, I had to be like more generous for other devotees to give time from his side. So I couldn't ask again that same question again. So still I had that question. Fortunately today I got from your mouth. So maybe I guess you are asking some practical things, what to do if all these situations like disturbances going on throughout the life, how to maintain that enthusiasm spontaneously. What's the mystery behind it? I was expecting the question is like that. So maybe Prabhuji answered, but I also wanted to add this thing. So practical
actually
steps.
Enthusiasm, it's utsaha nishtaya dharya. This is the only way how to keep going. And enthusiasm, there's different sources of enthusiasm, 5 of them basically. Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtan, Bhagavat Shravan, Mathurava, Sri Murti Shraddha Sevan. So I have deities, I have my accordion, I have my mission, I have my friends, really. And every morning I wake up, I'm rejoining ISKCON as a new bhakta. It may be seen or maybe not seen. Many people, they think, oh, senior devotee. No, we understand who we are. And that's why this is Bhagavatam say, even we are a little bit unsuccessful and we are sleeping, Bhumir Skalita Padanam, Evavalambanam. Sharanam Prabhu. So Rupa Goswami says that Bhumir Skalita Padanam, the earth is the only shelter for those whose feet slipped. When you slip and fall down on the earth, the Mother Earth is the only shelter for you to stand up again. So similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the only shelter for those who slipped from this bhakti process. And very often we are sleeping and falling and sleeping again and standing up. So we are taking shelter of the same process again and again. And guess what? Krishna is always happy, especially when you not thinking yourself something special. You just simply, simple mentality of, I tell you one thing, example come to my mind. When you have the blade, razor blade, when you're cutting with the blade, it's giving pain. But there is one jiva you can never cut. Why? Because it's microbe or virus. You cannot cut because virus or microbe is smaller inside than the blade of razor. If you can become smaller in size, even people will criticize you or situation will throw you down. It will not be able to affect you because you deserve it. And another thing, I saw one company, and the logo of the company was V shape, and on the top of the V was star. So I asked him, why did you choose this kind of symbol for your company? And that person, he told me that your progress in life proportionately depends on how much you're bouncing against the ground. Your victory will be when your life will throw you down, and you have to be like ball. I'm keeping always ball with me. There is one, I'm keeping ball with me like this. So this ball is always jumping. When you putting ball, it's jumping. It's not, similarly, we have to become Hari ball. They have ball, we also have Hari ball. So when life will throw you, coronavirus throw you, your inside anarthas, kam, krodh, lobh, moh, throw you and attack you, you bounce against the ground and don't be like blue tech. When like blue tech, you throw him and you're just lying down on the ground. Don't want to stand up. You have to bounce against the ground, and more heavy throw, more higher you have to go. It's like, and one of the reasons also helping me personally, I was doing many years martial arts. I was in army, and we were trained to stand up again and again. Even we were blown in the fight. Sometimes you're blown, and especially when you're breathing and somebody blowing you in the stomach, you cannot even breathe. Such a heavy test when you're running for 10 kilometers with full ammunition, machine gun, and all the army ammunition. And 35 or 40 kilo of extra weight on you, and you have to run for 10 kilometers. If anyone has experience here, after 3-5 kilometers, you're nearly dead. Fire inside your lungs. But you still have to continue. And the most difficult situation when you cannot breathe even, fire inside, you're running behind, and the officer throwing some bomb with gas, tearing gas, and you have to put mask gas. Those days we had big gas mask, with big eyes, and then like rubber wala. And you have this pipe with a coil inside, the old one. And some boys, they were very smart. They used to take out my brand. My brand they used to take out, so it's easy to breathe. But gas is real. And when officer used to throw the gas, those who, you can immediately understand who is real, who is nakli. Those who took out my brand to breathe easily, their gas go inside, they'll start to sneeze and cough, and immediately they will be detected. And he will take them out from the crowd, and they have to repeat tomorrow again with real gas mask. So that test, and you have to continue what to do. You have to complete. And result was always counted not by the first one, but by the last one. So we used to help those who were running behind. So you're not supposed to complete yourself. You have to be enthusiastic to help others also. You yourself also in trouble, but you also keep helping others to run. And that actually creates the quality of tolerance, teamship, and especially when you're fighting, that maybe that army training is very, very helpful for me to continue. Because this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's army anyway, Arjuna was fighting for Dharma in the battlefield, no? So we have apna apna yuddha kshetra. We all have our own battlefields, but those who don't have that, what do you call, no guts, no story. That's why you have to have a guts, and by your kind information, the all positive bacterias, all positive bacterias, according to science, they actually located in the guts, human guts. 100 trillions of positive bacteria, those who can fight negative bacteria, are in the guts. So if you have a guts, you'll be able to fight against all negativity bacteria of this world. That's perhaps few of the reasons. There is so many other reasons also. There is spiritual understanding as well as my friendship. I have wonderful friends to live for. I have my spiritual master's order. I have Krishna, and we have a little bit desire to go back to Godhead, by the way. So
thank you so much.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Go ahead,
Thank you
Prabhuji,
for
you were
all
saying
of
something.
you.
No, thank you very much, because we need to come there in person and get this inspiration and this enthusiasm, excitement from you. And it is still on our cards to make a trip to Nepal. We talked about it this year. Unfortunately, this year seems difficult, but we will definitely make it there. And you're always welcome here. Whenever we hope and pray that you can soon make a trip here, and we get an opportunity to serve you and learn from you. So I sincerely, well, all of us, thank you, because you've taken so much time out, and we really wanted to utilize this question and answer session, because that's where many of us want to get clarifications, etc. So thank you again, and let's all of us, thank Shri Prabhuji, unmute and loudly 3 Haribols.
Haribol, Haribol, Haribol.
Haribol.
Hey Krishna,
Lord
thank you
Haribol for
Prabhuji.
all